In the book, The Art of Happiness, one of the world's great spiritual leaders, His Holiness, the 14th Dalai Lama, shares his practical wisdom and advice on how to overcome everyday human problems and achieve lasting happiness. The book combines the Dalai Lama's Eastern spiritual tradition with Dr. Howard Cutler's Western perspective, and the result is a highly accessible guide for a wider non-Buddhist audience. Please subscribe to our channel and like this video if you find it useful. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell in order to stay tuned. Happiness is a state of mind. The purpose of life is to achieve happiness. A state of happiness that is stable and persistent, that remains despite life's ups and downs and normal fluctuations of mood. Not just mere pleasure, which is unstable. The Dalai Lama's approach to achieving happiness is absolutely practical and rational. It's attained through training the mind. You identify and cultivate positive mental states, identify and eliminate negative mental states. You categorize emotions on the basis of whether they lead to your ultimate happiness. The first step is learning. We have to learn how negative emotions and behaviors are harmful to us and how positive emotions are helpful. That kind of realization enhances our determination to face and overcome the negative ones. Compassion is the key. Feeling a connection is a core human need that has to be met on your way to happiness. A real, genuine human relationship has the power to heal the traumas of everyday worries, loneliness, and isolation. And compassion is the key to connect to others. If you maintain a feeling of compassion, loving kindness, then something automatically opens your inner door. Your attitude towards others changes, and you can communicate much more easily with other people. Once you encourage the thought of compassion in your mind, once that becomes active, it will reduce fear and allow openness with other people. It will create a positive, friendly atmosphere. You'll find that all human beings are just like you, pursuing happiness, so you'll be able to relate to them more easily. Genuine compassion is based on the rationale that all human beings have an innate desire to be happy and overcome suffering, just like yourself. And, just like yourself, they have the natural right to fulfill this fundamental aspiration. With this as a foundation, you can feel compassion regardless of whether you view the other person as a friend or an enemy. Empathy is an important factor for developing compassion. This is the ability to appreciate another's suffering. When dealing with others on any level, if you're having some difficulties, it's extremely helpful to try to put yourself in the person's place and see how you would react to the situation. Even if you have no common experience with the other person or have a very different lifestyle, you can do this through imagination. This helps you develop an awareness and respect for another's feelings. Facing suffering. Although pain and suffering are universal human phenomena, that doesn't mean we have an easy time accepting them. Human beings have devised a vast repertoire of strategies for avoiding having to experience suffering. Sometimes we use external means, medicating our emotional pain with chemicals. Other times we use internal mechanisms, like psychological defenses that buffer us from feeling too much emotional pain when confronted with problems. Yet suffering can only be avoided temporarily. Sooner or later, we'll have to face it. Accept suffering as a natural fact of human existence and courageously face problems head-on. The biggest problems in our lives are the ones that we inevitably have to face, like old age, illness, and death. Trying to avoid our problems or simply not thinking about them may provide temporary relief, but eventually these things will come away. And if you've avoided thinking about them, when the day comes that any of these events occur, it will come as a shock, causing unbearable mental uneasiness. However, If you spend some time thinking about old age, death, and these other unfortunate things, your mind will be much more stable when they do happen, as you have become acquainted with these problems and kinds of suffering, and have anticipated that they will occur. Accept suffering as something quite natural, and it will reduce the feeling of rejection, that feeling that you don't deserve to suffer, that you are a victim. We often add to our pain and suffering by being overly sensitive, overreacting to minor things, and sometimes taking things too personally. Often when problems arise, our outlook becomes narrow. All of our attention may be focused on worrying about the problem, and we may have a sense that we're the only one that is going through such difficulties. This can lead to a kind of self-absorption that can make the problem seem very intense. When this happens, seeing things from a wider perspective can definitely help. Realizing, for instance, that there are many other people who have gone through similar experiences and even worse experiences. If you compare the event with some other greater event, look at the same problem from a distance, then it appears smaller and less overwhelming. Life is change. The acceptance of change can be an important factor in reducing a large amount of our self-created suffering. The same is true in adult relationships. Levels of intimacy change, with periods of greater intimacy alternating with periods of greater distance. This is also part of the normal cycle of growth and development. To reach our full potential as human beings, we need to be able to balance our needs for closeness and union with times that we must turn inward, with a sense of autonomy to grow and develop as individuals. Your enemy is your greatest teacher. Our enemies play a crucial role. The enemy is the necessary condition for practicing patience. Without an enemy's action, there is no possibility for patience or tolerance to arise. Our friends do not ordinarily test us and provide the opportunity to cultivate these traits. Only our enemies do this. From this standpoint, we can consider our enemy as a great teacher. From the people with whom we interact, few cause us problems. So when you come across such a chance for practicing patience and tolerance, treat it with gratitude. If someone has hurt you and thinking of him makes you angry, look from a different angle. Surely the person who causes anger in you will have a lot of positive aspects and qualities. If you look carefully, you will also find that the act which has made you angry has also given you certain opportunities, something with which otherwise would not have been possible, even from your point of view. So with effort, you'll be able to see many different angles to a single event. When you are angry at somebody, you might feel like that person has no positive qualities, but the reality is that nobody is 100% bad. The tendency to see someone as completely negative is due to your own perception based on your mental projection, rather than the true nature of that individual. It is helpful to understand and appreciate the background of the people you are dealing with. Also, being open-minded and honest are useful qualities when dealing with others. Dealing with anxiety. To reduce a kind of worry, cultivate the thought. If the situation or problem is such that it can be remedied, then there is no need to worry about it. Seek a solution. Spend your energy focusing on the solution rather than worrying about the problem. Alternatively, if there is no way out, no solution, no possibility of resolution, then there's also no point of being worried about it, because you can't do anything about it. Sincere motivation acts as an antidote to reduce fear and anxiety. Remind yourself why you are doing the things you are doing, and you won't have to worry about appearing foolish or care about what others think of you. Do the best you can, and you don't have to worry about it. The more honest you are, the more self-confident you will be. Be truthful with oneself and others about what you are and are not capable of doing. The more open and honest you are, the less fear you will have because there's no anxiety about being exposed or revealed to others. If you enjoyed this video, you are sure to like our summary of 100 Simple Secrets of Happy People, another great book on the topic of happiness. Thank you for watching. Please check our channel for more videos like this. Tell us in the comments, what is your favorite book? Can't get enough of reading? Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/readandgrow1 and also on Twitter at twitter.com/readandgrow1.